This is a race on the path to the pantheon of greats, which City of Troy seeks to follow.
He could be one of the very best we've seen for a very long time.
As City of Troy, it's a winning extension for Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien.
The first time he ever rode a two-year-old, he thought he wasn't going to pull up.
Worthy of all the superlatives, he could be a future champ.
Does everything beautifully.
A brilliant winner of the Dewhurst, City of Troy.
We've never had a horse like this.
Will the Trojan horse prevail in this classic tale?
It is Kipco 2000 Guineas time. Chris Dixon and I are in the paddock, and the first horse we're going to look at is number 2. Two handlers over to our right, camera left, and that is, of course, City of Troy, unbeaten son of Justified. Last seen winning the Dewhurst over 7 furlongs, 203 days ago, Chris.
Yeah, and the outstanding juvenile of last season. The question is, how will he have trained on? Well, he looks like he's trained, and trained pretty well. He looks in excellent nick. Your interview with Ed, you're saying that he was a little bit heavier
than expected. Is a positive sign, they're saying, and it's not that he's holding condition, it must be that there's been some physical progress. He's nice and relaxed, and if he can even match the level that he was at 2, then the others are going to have to improve plenty, because that level is good enough to win a lot of recent Guineas. So I really hope that he can make a winning return as a 3-year-old and remain unbeaten, because he's got the real star quality in this field. Unbeaten at 2, and he's already proven at the track. The trip going to suit him, I think, and really excited to see him. Number 3 is behind. He cuts a slightly less relaxed figure, pawing at the ground a little on his toes. That is Ghost Writer, also unbeaten, number 3.
As you say, he's a lot more het up. He's getting warm between his back legs. He's down on his neck as well. He's unbeaten in 3 starts. He needs to find improvement, but he really did go the right way last year, and he's a course and distance winner. I'm
going to spin round to the other side of the paddock now and pick up Inisherin, which is number 6. So we'll let these go and head over. We can go that way. Inisherin, give us a bit more time to look at him. That is number 6 for Tom Eves and Kevin Ryan.
Yeah, he's a good-looking horse, this, isn't he? He's strong looking. He looks a real miling type. He's by Shamadal. Plenty of his progeny have this kind of physique, and he's out of a smart mare in Ajman Princess as well. So his pedigree's a real positive, and he quickened up really well to win in a slow overall time, but a fast finish at Newcastle when he was last seen. The yard have got previous of getting horses to run really well at big prices in this race, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was another.
1 or 2 in the race for Sheikh Mohammed Abeid Al Maktoum. Number 4 is behind Hartem, who won the Craven when last seen 16 days ago.
Yeah, showing that he had trained on from 2 to 3 Hartem, and again proving an ability to handle this track. A little bit more is required, but is entitled to progress once again. He's an interesting runner. Once again, we'll head over to the other side to have a look at Al Yanabi. He chased home City of Troy in the Dewhurst, and that is number 1. He's behind the trees. Yeah, and he chased him home on the back of having won here the time before in Group 3 company. So he went into the Dewhurst as an informed progressive rival, but he was blown away in the end by City of Troy. No disgrace in that, obviously. He is a son of Too Darn Hot. He's out of a mare who was unraced but related to smart horses that progressed with age. He's getting a little bit warm. Wouldn't take it as a massive negative. They're obviously expecting a bit. He was riding the Red Hood. Unbeaten in 2 starts at Southwell is number 7, Knight Raider. That's back 3 horses. Number 7 lines up for Danny Tudhope and Carl Burke, Knight Raider. He looks extremely well. He's obviously coming into this with a couple of runs behind him on the all-weather, so it's first go on the turf today. Demolished the field at Southwell last time out, and Cogitate, who we beat, isn't a bad horse. He wasn't beaten that far in an Acomb, so he looks to have a lot of class. The yard are talking him up. The sectionals give him extra credit, really, from what he has achieved on the bare form, but he does need to improve again. For me, stamina is a slight doubt. Again, over the other side of the paddock, behind the trees, is number 11, 10 Bob Tony. 10 Bob Tony's a very distinctive-looking horse. He was a winner at the Craven meeting when it suited being on the pace. That's number 11. And at the Craven meeting, he beat Boiling Point, who came out here and won yesterday. So that form, given a timely boost, he will get on the front end, you would imagine, and roll along.
I suspect a few of them will pass him, but he'll give it a good go from the front, and he's likely to be suited by this trip, given the way that he saw his race out.
And behind is number 9, that's Rosalian, who won at Longchamp when last seen. He was disappointing in the Champagne Stakes prior.
Son of Blue Point, who can be quite free. I'd have a little bit of a worry about him for the trip as well, particularly given his general demeanour, both pre-race and, more importantly, in races in the past. He'll be tucked away. He's got a real sparkling turn of foot, this horse, and he's got some very, very strong form. Already a Group 1 winner, and some of his form in this country, including at Ascot, worked out really well.
We still owe you a couple more. I'm going to spin round to number 5, that is Iberian, for Tom Marquand and Charlie Hills, obviously well behind City of Troy. In a race where Tom Marquand, he asserted that he felt disappointing that day, Chris. He felt below par.
Yeah, and he was below par. His previous form at Doncaster is obviously better than that. He was not able to give his running for whatever reason in the Dewhurst, and I suppose for that reason you could take a bit of a positive, because he didn't give his running, whereas some of the others did give their running, it seems, and were blown away by City of Troy. He was blown away, but perhaps with an excuse that we don't necessarily know about on the day. He was progressing before that, and he could run okay. I'm not quite sure about his draw just on the flank. I don't really like being on the wing, and it can make things a little bit more difficult, particularly for a horse who can be quite exuberant.
Number 8 is Notable Speech. Imagine going to be given a stalk and pounce ride, William Buick, Charlie Appleby.
Yeah, unbeaten in 3 starts. Is another one that's bringing an unbeaten record to the line. An unbeaten all-weather record. He's yet to go on the turf, but he did look pretty special and smart when he picked up from the back of the field at Kempton to win in decisive fashion in a race where they hadn't gone that quick. He's clearly got lots of gears.
And finally, number 10, Task Force, has had his win done. Ross Orion, Rafe Beckham.
Yeah, bandaged behind, getting quite warm. He doesn't impress physically in the paddock in the manner that some do. I actually think that he's a horse that could do better this year. He could take the wind surgery one of 2 ways, but if it improves him, he could be of interest, and not really bred to be a 6-furlong juvenile, which is what all his form is over. So this is much more likely to be his bag in theory.
11 going to post for the Kipco 2000 Guineas.
Yeah, that's a good look at them in the parade ring, and they're now going down. And this favourite is rock solid, City of Troy's 4-6, 7-1 Rosalian out from 6s, into 10s from 12s. Notable Speech, unbeaten Charlie Appleby horse, 3 wins from 3 at Kempton. Allian Arby 12s from 14s. It's 14s Ghostwriter. Knight Raider is 18s from 22-1 for Carl Burke, already a winner on the board today at Newmarket. Task Force 18s, 22-1, and bigger the rest. But City of Troy, boy, he's been solid in the market for a good while now.
He has. I think there's just a couple of people who are looking now they feel confident enough to lay him at a very short price. So he's drifted from his opening price. The one that has significantly moved out in the market is Rosalian, and I'm not surprised. When we saw it in the paddock, he had what I call the shaving foam between his back legs, and I've never ever had that as a positive. When I'm looking at horses in the paddock, I immediately put a slight question mark over that. And notably, when we saw it on our screens, and presumably on the mainstream services, it's on the same screen. They're seeing the same pictures, and punters wanted to lay the Hannon runner, who was impressive in the Lagardère, and the Hannons have got a good history of getting horses to win and get placed in the 2000 Guineas. But Notable Speech brings the unbeaten all-weather trio to this race, and he's the one, if there is one getting backed against the field, the favourite, and he's now hardened up again, back to his starting price, 1.67. It's double figures bar, and it's 20s. There's only Ghostwriter who's in the teens against him. It's rock solid.
Yeah. There's City of Troy going to post. Here's Lydia.
So we were just saying on Extra, if you were just looking at them cold in the paddock, you would not put Had Done Well next to City of Troy's name. There are a number of them who have, Allian Arby being one, Ghostwriter being another. Chris likes Inner Sherin. I quite like Knight Raider of Carl Burke's as well. City of Troy clearly has got outstanding 2-year-old form. He's won the Superlative. He's also won the Dewhurst here, so we know he handles the track. He's got a great demeanour. He's going to try and make all here. I wouldn't be worried about the trip. You say he's fit. The only question about City of Troy is, have others how much has he improved, if at all, and have others improved enough? And it's quite a bit to be able to worry him today and beyond.
There's a lot of questions to throw into the melting pot, aren't there? And one of them is, has he improved? Another is, does he need to? Because the standard that he's at, ratings-wise, would have won this race on a few occasions.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We're still in the early part of the year, and that precocity can carry through to this stage of their 3-year-old season. As you said, some of the others might well have caught up or be catching up physically, but he does set an exceptionally high standard. If he didn't have quite so much in hand on his 2-year-old form, you might be questioning a little bit more. I still think he's going to be good enough. He looked extremely fit and well. I think his big positive in the paddock was his demeanour and his professionalism, because one or two of the others weren't handling it so well.
Well, Rosallian would be one, and my view about the way that he lost the Champagne Stakes is not the ground in any kind of way, even though it was quicker than officially given when he won the Jean-Luc Lagardère. I think he saw too much daylight, and I think he could compromise his chances here with that kind of run.
I agree with that, and I think we saw a glimmer of that when he won on his final start of last year in the Lagardère. He is a keen-going horse, isn't he? What he has is a real explosive turn of foot. Yeah. I mean, the way that he picked up and won there and found was really impressive.
Bred for it, isn't he? It should be fine. I'd say it's his maximum, but as you say, it's the demeanour that brings in some kind of doubts about that. Yeah. They've clearly got some doubts about Iberian as well. If he's got a Commonwealth Cup entry, so it's clearly in the back of Charles Hills's mind that might be an issue. Although he was progressive in his first 3 starts, I think he was...
Yeah, that might be a fair sort of excuse. I was kind of looking for the excuse. I just took that he didn't give his running, didn't really know why. Before that, he was kind of on the up, but he would need to improve a good bit, and it might well be that
I think he's not good enough. Yeah, I think he's not good enough. Elian Arby, who has done well from 2 to 3, chased home City of Troy in the Dewhurst. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a huge threat here, is there?
No, I don't think so, and he looks like he's improved from 2 to 3. He's got a good bit to find with City of Troy, but he was closest to him in the Dewhurst. He's got winning form at this track previously as well, and he does look like one that can improve into this season. So he's got a bit to find with City of Troy. He's been well held by him before, but every reason to think that he can do better.
Another horse that has done well from 2 to 3 is Ghostwriter, who won the Royal Lodge over this course and distance. He's going to be a player too, isn't he?
Yeah, one of a few unbeaten horses coming into the race. He was just getting a little bit warm, wasn't he, Ghostwriter? But he's proven over the trip already, so that's not a problem. He's out of a mare who stayed really, really well, and he's by Invincible Spirit, so he's kind of falling in the middle of what his sire and dam were. He needs to improve on what he's done. I don't think his form has the depth of one or two of the others, but he's beaten everything that's been put in front of him so far.
How about Notable Speech? He's unbeaten in 3 starts and has a sparkling turn of foot turf debut.
Yeah, really does have a sparkling turn of foot. All of his form on a level track around a bend to this point, so this is something different on a number of fronts, really, but the way that he quickened up from the back of the field at Kempton was that of a smart horse, and he clearly does have exceptional gears and pace.
Night Rider is unbeaten in 2 starts, has never gone beyond 7 furlongs. There might be a doubt on the trip on his pedigree. His demeanour's going to help him from the looks of things.
Yeah, he's a very strong travelling horse through his races, and he's gained his wins over 7, and he's run on well on each occasion through the line. He's completely outclassed his rivals. It's just on pedigree I'm sort of struggling to see him being an absolute miler. I mean, he's a half-brother to Far Above, who was a real sprinter, and Far Above was by Far, who doesn't really get sprinters, and this fella's by Dark Angel. But lots of talk about him, and he's clearly a quick horse.
You said you liked him as Sharon?
Yeah, for a yard that have got previous with big-priced horses in this, I thought the way that he put distance between himself and the rest at Newcastle in a steadily run race was really impressive. And the horse that he had in second spot, Kalpana, obviously went into a handicap next time out and absolutely bolted up. So I think that's an underestimated form line, really, for Inisharan.
We know that Hartem has trained on and really relished the mile when he won the Craven over this course and distance. The race rather fell apart, though.
Yeah, it did, but he's got a run behind him. He's got that race fitness in a trial on his side. Obviously, he was down the field in the Dewhurst, not really firing, but he looked right on his A game last time.
And Tack Force was getting quite sweaty beforehand in the preliminaries. He's stepping up in trip and must prove it. And 10 Bob Toby, well, he's going to have company from that horse for the lead. Here's the 2,000 guineas for 2024.
And they're off in the 2024 running of the Kipco 2,000 guineas over the mile. City of Troy broke out well in the dark blue jacket. Inisherin's with him through the opening furlong. Al Yanabi's quite keen. He's up with the early gallop as well. Then Hartem and Tem Bob Tony, the orange sleeves and cap. They're followed through then by Task Force in the pink cap, and with those to the right-hand side is Iberian. Hartem with City of Troy over toward the far side. They're followed through by Rosalian, then Ghost Rider, and Night Raider is with those in the grey silks. Tucked in behind that group is Notable Speech as they continue up the home run towards halfway. It is City of Troy just about in front, but with him though is Inisherin, and Hartem between them, the green sleeves and cap. Night Raider completes out that leading wave. Al Yanabi more towards the stand side in blue and white with Tem Bob Tony and Iberian maroon in yellow. They're followed by Rosalian. Task Force nudged along. Ghost Rider behind those, and then came Notable Speech. City of Troy is under pressure now as out in front Inisherin will lead from Hartem, and Al Yanabi as they head down towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Rosalian travels powerfully down the centre, puts it up to Inisherin. Al Yanabi coming there, then Hartem. City of Troy will be well beaten. Notable Speech is coming into it, the blue to the left-hand side. They're racing inside the final furlong and a half. Rosalian down the centre. Notable Speech to the far side, trying to stick on his Hartem in third, but it's Notable Speech who's come through to lead. He goes on by a couple to Rosalian. Hartem back in third, then Ghost Rider. It's Notable Speech. He remains unbeaten. He won the 2,000 guineas. Notable Speech from Rosalian, then Hartem, Ghost Rider, Inisherin out in the RB, and then Task Force.
From Kempton to Newmarket, no problem for Notable Speech. 3 from 3 at Kempton, held up in a fiercely run race, and he utilised his turn of foot to land the Kipco 2,000 guineas for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. Rosalian was back in second place, but Notable Speech, 4 from 4 now in his career. City of Troy, a big disappointment. Let's go to Punchestown. Got the Mayor's Champion Hurdle, Grade 1 over 2.5 miles. Lossy Mouth is 2 to 11. Astro Diamond 11 to 1. It's 11's Tell Me Something Girl. Galamoso 16s and 20s Hispanic Moon. With the news that Notable Speech wins the Guineas, let's go to Punchestown.
White flag is raised. Led off over 2.5 miles into Grade 1 Coolmore National Hunsars Bolshoi Balliard GBF Mayor's Champion Hurdle. Setting off in front is Tell Me Something Girl in the red cap, leads Gala Marceau and Lossy Mouth. Hispanic Moon dropped in the back marker is Ashro Diamond as they turn along the side of the track to the first of 11 flights. Building up an early advantage is Tell Me Something Girl and Rachel Blackmore, put 5 in front of Lossy Mouth and Paul Townend, who take up second place from stable companion Gala Marceau, Danny Mullins, with Hispanic Moon. Darrow O'Keefe, the back marker heading for the second flight is Ashro Diamond, Patrick Mullins. Over the flight and the turn into the straight, Tell Me Something Girl, out in front of Lossy Mouth. The long odds-on favourite, third is Gala Marceau, and fourth round the bend is Hispanic Moon with a couple of lengths back to the trailing mare Ashro Diamond. Turning in for flight number 3 and re-establishing sizable advantage on straightening up is Tell Me Something Girl. 6 to 7 lengths clear now from Lossy Mouth, and all 4 of today's rivals behind her in the mares at Cheltenham, and Gala de Marceau, Hispanic Moon, Ashro Diamond. Flight number 3 in the last one next time. Let's Tell Me Something Girl into it. From Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau, Hispanic Moon, Ashro Diamond. Little changes, passing the winning post the first time with the circuit of race. About to rise uphill to flight number 4. Tell Me Something Girl, oppose over a 5-length advantage from Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau third, then Hispanic Moon and Ashro Diamond. At flight number 4, Tell Me Something Girl, up and over from Lossy Mouth, was moved away from Gala Marceau as Ashro Diamond relegates to the back of the field a struggling Hispanic Moon, who has faded out of contention quite rapidly and been taken out as well, Hispanic Moon. As Tell Me Something Girl away from the 5th flight. Followed downhill by Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau, and Astro Diamond. Continuing downhill to the next flight, which will bring them towards the halfway stage. And the Grade 1 Coolmore National Hussars Bolshoi Ballet EBF Mares Champion Hurdle. Tell Me Something Girl jumped off to make it, maintains a clear advantage over Lossiemouth, who's followed by her two stable companions, Gala Marceau and Astro Diamond, as they go away from that downhill flight, bringing them into the back straight past halfway. But in single file, still well spaced out by the front running Tell Me Something Girl. 8 lengths clear from Lossiemouth, Gala Marceau third. Fourth of the 4 that remain is Astro Diamond. Down the back they go. Over the first of 2, Tell Me Something Girl. From Lossiemouth, Gala Marceau and Astro Diamond. Right across from the stands, they're heading for the final mile. 4 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl's lead has been slightly reduced by Lossiemouth. In third is Gala Marceau. Fourth of the 4 is Astro Diamond as they head to the point at which they started. Another 3 flights left to jump. And Tell Me Something Girl has come back greatly to Lossiemouth, Gala Marceau and Astro Diamond. Inside the final 3/4 of a mile as they pass the point at which they started. 3 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl by 4 lengths to Lossiemouth. 2.5 in front of Gala Marceau, coupled clear from Astro Diamond. Turning with just over 5 furlongs to go. 3 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl by less than 4 lengths to Lossiemouth and Gala Marceau and Astro Diamond. No changes, heading for the third last flight. 2 to bring them in the final time. Tell Me Something Girl reeled in by Lossiemouth. Lossiemouth lands just in front after having stretched for the flight. Gala Marceau, Astro Diamond have left behind Tell Me Something Girl, who's cut out quickly as Lossiemouth turns into the straight, a length in front of stable companions Astro Diamond and Gala Marceau. Dropping right out of contention is Tell Me Something Girl, who made the bulk of the running, but into the straight with just over 2 furlongs to go and 1 flight left to jump. It is Lossiemouth and Paul Townend stretching away from Astro Diamond and Gala Marceau, who are both making little impressions to bridge the gap on the long odds on favourite and their stable companion. Lossiemouth at the final flight in the Coolmore National Hussars Bolshoi Ballet EBF Mares Champion Hurdle. Lossiemouth by 6 lengths over the last from Gala Marceau, who's booked for second. Astro Diamond in third, and on the run in, title or no, what an ambassador he is as Paul Townend, as he makes his 3 out of 3 for the year on Lossiemouth and the Mares Champion. Second Gala Marceau, Astro Diamond third. Sweep.
Very talented mare. Another Grade 1 in the can for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins. Right, let's go to Thirsk. And we have got a maiden fillies went over 7 furlongs. Rocky Mountain Way 5-2. Nugget 7-4, 4-1. Galactic Charm, Love You Darling 11-2. Worrells 11-2. Damascena Gold 9s, 11s. Desert Footsteps and 14s. Poles apart. Anything at all to report, Dave? A little bit of money for Love You Darling, but...
Yeah, ran its best race on its debut last season, so maybe it's a filly best kept fresh, but it's another 3-year-old maiden. Berkshire Nugget is just regaining strength in the market, having weakened out to bigger than 7-4 after a while. Yeah, shown enough form to be able to win what is a modest maiden, but not particularly strong in the betting.
Yeah. OK, Anthony and Steve await. Here we go.
Thanks, Steve. Strong favourite, Berkshire Nugget, 13-8. Galactic Charm, but the money very much had come for Love You Darling. Has eased back out a little bit. Where would you be looking, Steve?
Respective prices, I think I lean towards Galactic Charm. We've got excuses for last time out for the trip. I just didn't think so the mile and a half. His form is on a par with Berkshire Nugget. I do think Worrells is an interesting run. I think the horse is open to improvement. We haven't seen the best of her yet.
Yeah, I think Worrells for me at 11-2. Whatever happens, you'll get a mark after this. But related to a horse in Biggles who loved a bit of cut in the ground. Here's Ian Bartlett.
Worrells is the last one. That's it. And set. They're off. Race with a mile. Of the trip here for this William Hill Epic Value Restricted Maiden. They come out in a fairly decent line. Desert Foot's three-length lead now for Worrell's Hector Crouch, making the best of the way home. Tracked by the favourite Berkshire Nugget, Jason Watson, red colours in second. Daracina Gold behind these in third. One from the right is Galactic Charm, called upon for an effort. Extreme left now is Desert Footsteps from the back of the field. On the right is Love You Darling eating up the ground. It's Worrell's as they head down with a furlong and a half to go to Love You Darling in the light blue and pink colours. Jack Gilligan coming into it now. Behind these in the red is Berkshire Nugget. They're inside the last furlong. A good battle. Black Sleeves, Worrell's. Nearest to us is Love You Darling. Berkshire Nugget getting going again in the closing stages. Worrell's fending off the challenge of Love You Darling as they race towards the line. Worrell's stretching out and she wins. Love You Darling in second. Berkshire Nugget in third. It might just be Galactic Charm over Daracina Gold for fourth.
Worrell's has won this maiden for the Rafe Beckett team. Hector Crouch riding. Love You Darling was in second place. The first two came quite close together, didn't they? They both rolled around, particularly, I think, Love You Darling under Jack Gilligan. Third home was Berkshire Nugget.
To the favourite Berkshire Nugget, but that horse wouldn't have won, but it might have finished a bit closer.
11 to 2, Worrell's taking that 3.55 at Goodwood. We'll have a quick look at the head-on in case there was anything that might induce the stewards to have a look.
Surely.
So there's Worrell's in front with a white cap. Berkshire Nugget, rather, coming to challenge in the red, and to the right is Love You Darling. Love You Darling's just given a thump to Berkshire Nugget and now has taken Worrell's across. So it's the second horse who's caused the trouble, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah, the right horse has won the race because it's been impeded and still managed to
win. Yeah.
And the third would have been noticeably closer. I don't know whether it's enough to suggest that they might disqualify or reverse. I don't know quite what the rules are. Definitely, there's one very easy to spot criminal in the race, offender in the race, and it's a case of how much you reckon the damage was worth.
Yeah, OK. Worrell's will be OK, though. That filly has won the 3.55 contest. Clear up the 2,000 guineas result. Notable Speech is unbeaten still in 4 starts, and in all 4 he's come from last to first. 3 at Kempton and this one at Newmarket. 16 to 1. Rosallion 15 to 2, and Hartem 16 to 1 made it second and third for the Richard Hannon team. City of Troy, the odds-on favourite, finished 9th. 1:37.21 the time, which is 1.21 outside standard. It's not the best time furlong per furlong. That is just 7 questions. It was a race that was run at a bonkers gallop, and it set up nicely for Notable Speech, ridden more patiently than most. Here's the winning trainer.
Well, the 7 numbers talk of this race is the last 2-year-old race of the season, but we didn't see this horse till he was 3, and he's never run a race on turf. Guineas winner, there you go.
Yeah, no, delighted. Firstly, just many congratulations to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed and Team Godolphin and all the lads back in the yard. He's come from up the old yard there, so he's one of the quirkier, surprisingly for as quiet as you see him walking around here. He's got his little idiosyncrasies that it suits him up there in the quiet environment, and well done to all of them up there.
What would they be? Because he was one of the quieter ones walking around.
Yeah, he'd be one of those horses. He spends most of his day sort of in the back of his box there, tied up, and just quietly just keeps himself to himself, and he's just got that little switch on him that, the smallest little thing can sometimes set him off, but he's been foot perfect every time he's been to the races, and therefore you cannot fault him. And I was delighted with the way he pre-paraded. I thought he looked a picture in the paddock there, and William went out there and rode him with the confidence that he felt he had in the horse, and we saw the result.
At what point in his relatively short campaign now, since the back end of January, did you think that this might be realistic, just running?
Look, I think, at the end of the day, we are realistic in that, what his performance is on the all-weather, we're on the all-weather, and so therefore you wouldn't normally see a horse coming off there into a classic straight off the bat. But at that last start, I think we all sort of left there with he put a little bit of a wow factor in his acceleration, and the speed figures stacked up there. So therefore William was very complimentary about him after the race, and I felt that he could be a French Guineas horse at that time, because he just said of the speed of him, his acceleration, he would suit that type of a race over there. Obviously we watched the Craven and a couple of the trials sort of come and go, and immediately after the Craven we said, right, we'll make the call and we'll have a crack at the English Guineas with him, and then after that, we brought him up here, for a racecourse gallop there, and he put that wow factor back in again. I put a decent lead horse. I just said to Will, I'm going to put some speed into this dip for you, and I said you'll have to fire him at it to see how he comes out of it, because we all know it's a great excuse to use, but we use the dip too often if we get beaten. So I said I'm far from saying it wasn't it wasn't a actual race experience he got, but he got a good racecourse experience there into that dip, and Will fired him in and fired him back out of it, and he flew out of the dip, and he said, I didn't even know it was there, to be brutally honest with you. So we came here after that. We came here with more confidence about it. We were the right horse to be here anyway. I was far from going to say we would win a Guineas on the back of what City of Troy had achieved as a 2-year-old, and to be fair to the Craven winner and everyone else who was participating. But I just felt that we had the right horse to be participating in it ourselves and be competitive.
Do you see him this season as always going to be a sort of hold up and pounce type, or could he be more versatile? Might he have to be?
I see no reason why you want to change it unless all of a sudden you were forced into that. But at the end of the day, that's why William's got the job he has. That's for him to make the call, and he has considering their short sort of spell together. When I say short, 3 rides. He's only ever sat on him 3 times there. I think he sat on him once at home, maybe. He's got a lot of confidence in the horse, and he feels he knows what the horse can do, and I think that showed today.
And regard what he does next, not just race-wise, but do you see him trying a different distance as well? What do you think?
I'd be surprised if we went beyond. Yeah, I would be. I mean, if truth be known, if I'd looking at him in the paddock today, when I saw him go around for, he looked fantastic. But I just thought if it's turned in, Will did say to me going into the race, he said, look, Charlie, I'm going to have to ride him off the pace slightly. He says, I don't want to get drawn into, a stamina end-to-end mile. He says, because it will just take the acceleration off this horse, and this is his forte. And so, until those races come and go, you won't know how he's going to be ridden, but I'll leave that to Will.
And Ascot would be the likely next port of call, would it?
I would imagine so, but like I say, as always, we'll let the dust settle, let everyone enjoy themselves, and speak to all connections, and come up with a formulative plan.
Last word on Will. Obviously, he's gone very close before. I guess it was a different type of feeling today because he was on sort of a bigger price horse, but it's great for him to get a Guinea.
Good for sure. I mean, what can I say? He's champion jockey, a good friend. And he's riding for me at the top of his game, and I think like any sort of sporting team, when you have that connection and things are going right, well, to enjoy it, as they say.
And good luck in America. You got three at Churchill, 1 at Aqueduct. Busy man.
Yeah, looking forward to that. No, I'm quite pleased I'm here rather than being at Churchill. It could be a bit busy there tonight, but the team are all out there. Team are well. Frankie's doing his bit, hopefully. 3 favourites out there. We've got Mischief Magic in the sprint, and then we've got Legend of Time in what's called the American Turf, a 3-year-old over the 9, and then Naval Power in the Old Bourbon. They're all at Churchill, and then Ottoman's Fleet, who we saw here at the Craven meeting, he's chipped over again as he did last year, and we'll have another crack at the Fort Macy Aqueduct with Richie and Mullen in the saddle.
Good luck out there. Most importantly, well done, another Guineas.
Thanks, Tom. Cheers, mate.
Great stuff from Charlie Appleby. And you'll see Legend of Time and Naval Power, his 2 runners at Churchill Downs this evening here on Racing TV. We'll be covering the meeting from 7:30. The 150th Kentucky Derby coming up later on in the evening. And good luck to Charlie Appleby with Legend of Time and Naval Power. Both exit Maidan after having a good time of it in Dubai. Newmarket, a 1.5 mile handicap, Real Dream 7-2, Maxi King 9-2, along with Jeremiah, who's been backed in from 11-2 to 9-2, 13-2, Nightsword, Youthful King 15-2, 8's Relentless Voyager, To Catch a Thief 17-2, 16's Hope You Can Run, and Percy Shelley 22-1. All 9 go here in the 4:10 at Newmarket.
Real Dream was the money horse this morning into 11-4, and Knightswood was put in as favourite yesterday evening by most bookmakers, around about 4-1. That's drifted out to nearly double that. Has got a, the trainer's got a, or the trainer's father's got a good record in the in this race. Won 2 of the last 4. He's a horse who likes to be ridden up with a van. Ran perfectly well in his reappearance at Ripon. I can't understand why he's drifting, but yeah, you're right. Jeremiah for Ian Jardine. I think it's a difficult horse to win with. I would have been interested at sort of 12, 14 to 1 to get it into the frame, because I'm sure it'll travel up there. But if Safi Osborne can coax it past, it's handicapped to win a race. But I think there's he's got to sort out its. She's got to sort out its attitude of the of this gelding. So I wouldn't count your money until you pass the post.
No, but Ian Jardine is in pretty good form. This horse is in a good nick, and we'll see how Jeremiah gets on now as they head to post for this 4:10. Here's Lydia. Apologies, we can't connect with Lydia at the moment. There's the betting. Real Dream 7 to 2, Maxi King 5 to 1, Jeremiah 5 to 1.
The thing with Maxi King, that's
go on.
Oh, the lace sort of going down. This ground might be a little bit quick for it. But William Haggasaw had a winner, putting the cheek pieces on that horse for the first time to catch Thief. Needs to improve on its 2 runs so far. This season, but I would never rule out that stable in a handicap such as this at Newmarket.
No, indeed. So Michael Stout's got the favourite. It's Real Dream, Ryan Moore riding. Here's Lydia.
Yes, and overall, I'd say that Real Dream is still progressive. He at least ended last season with his best effort. A really good third in the Mallard Handicap at Doncaster.
Yeah, it was a good run, wasn't it, behind Legendary Day. It was over further, it was on slower ground, and his win came on a slower surface at Ascot before that in July. I think you can pick a few holes in those bits of form. And he is down in trip. I think at the price, I'd rather look elsewhere, but yeah, he's still got the potential to do better. And as you say, it was up there with it was a career best on his final start. Can sort of see why he's favourite, but there were other horses that are a good bit bigger price. I mean, I wouldn't have the second favourite as the second favourite.
Maxi King, you mean?
Yeah.
We've only seen, well, he's returned already this season with a win at Ripon, but we only saw him once last season.
Yeah, and the 2 times that we've seen him for this yard when he's won, it's been bottomless ground, and he seemed to absolutely revel in it. The conditions are far removed from that this afternoon. He's backing up much more quickly, 16 days this time around. He's obviously a horse that's had a few issues, and I'd just be a little bit concerned about whether he gives his running. Jeremiah's next in the market. And
I'd be worried about him, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Forfeiting us at the start
exactly.
as well here.
I mean, he's a habitual slow starter, and he can completely blow it.
I've got a strong view here.
Go on.
I really like Youthful King.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, right, OK.
Yeah.
We haven't conferred, ladies and gentlemen. I think I think return to turf is going to really suit him.
Yep.
He's got a really good run on the wrong part of the track at Ascot from last season in a deep race, and he's been running pretty well on the all-weather.
He has, and he keeps on finishing off his races like he wants further. Now, you can go back to his form over a mile and a half and say, well, it isn't as good, but I think there's been mitigating circumstances when he's tried it, and just think that a mile and a half here might see him in a better light than when he's had the mile and a half before. He won over just shy of a mile and a half, didn't he, at Windsor? Mm-hmm. He made the running that day. Since then, he had a go at Kempton, and he was 2-3 out in front, and he had a go at Ascot, didn't he? And he obviously raced clear.
Yeah.
So I just think he's had his excuses when he's tried the trip, and he continually looks like he wants it.
Yeah, 100% agree. On pedigree and on early profile, you would fancy To Catch a Thief to run a big race here, but things haven't gone right in his last 2 starts. He's been in competitive races. He's been up against Penzance, and now William Haggis is reaching for the cheek pieces. But back on turf from that pedigree, you'd expect him to like this discipline.
Yeah, you might have expected better from him at Thirst, but then that was horrible ground, so I think you'd probably give To Catch a Thief a pass on that. And the way that he was progressing on the all-weather. I mean, going into Thirsk, I was thinking, well, he's going to improve again, because the mile and a half will be the making of him, really, and being by Cracksman, he should be fine on the ground. But there's levels of how soft it gets, and it was fairly bad ground at Thirsk. So he perhaps just didn't enjoy that, and you've kind of got to forgive him that run and go back to his earlier form that definitely can make him look like a progressive horse. And in terms of pedigree, there's some upside. There's not a great deal of support behind him in the betting, is there?
No, and maybe it's those first-time cheap pieces and the run on turf, which I agree. I think at first there were some excuses, but he's from the family of Our Obsession, the Vultures winner. How about Relentless Voyager? What do you feel about Andrew Balding's contender? Was considered good enough to run in the King Edward VII Stakes at Royal Ascot as a 3-year-old, but finished last of 6.
Yeah, he's been off the track a good while since, hasn't he? Been gelded into his last scene. He had a tongue tie on for his last few starts. That isn't on today, is it? I think.
And they're off. Racing away, they go 1.5 miles in the William Hill Epic Boost Handicap Stakes, a £50,000 Class 2 contest. Hope You Can Run is up there early on, together with To Catch a Thief to the inside in the black and white with the red cap. Wider out then is Knightswood. Those are leading 3. Youthful King throwing his head around a bit, a little bit keen behind the principals, and then came Percy Shelley to his inside. Another length back to Maxi King as they make the corner, as they head inside the final 1.25 miles. Maxi King and the violet silks there, David Egan. Real Dream and Ryan Morris next in the blue and yellow, then the yellow of Relentless Voyager, and Jeremiah is behind him to the inside in those red and black colours for Safi Osborne. They continue towards the final mile. It's To Catch a Thief, who leads narrowly from Hope You Can Run, and Freddie Norton, who's sitting in second place. White Sleeves Haddy to the outside in third is Knightswood under Joe Fanning. 2 shades of blue, Percy Shelley and Danny Tudhope in fourth. Horses got the cheek pieces on for the first time. Youthful King is behind him in the blue with the pink spots in the hands of Aidan Keeley. And then Maxi King, the Ripon winner from last time. Outside there of Relentless Voyager to the yellow, and then came Jeremiah to the inside of those two. And the blue and yellow of Real Dream is at the rear of the field. They continue the way up the home straight. They're racing on inside the final 5.5 furlongs. To Catch a Thief leads by a length and a half. So Hope You Can Run, he's racing in second. Against the running rail in third is Percy Shelley. 9.5. To Catch a Thief still with the advantage. Leads by a length or so to Knightswood. Maxi King moving up with menace in the violet silks. Hope You Can Run is now ridden for more. Then Percy Shelley. Relentless Voyager trying to stay on. Youthful King is trying to find his way through, but he hasn't had the best of luck. Real Dream now arrives on the outside as well. All change. Maxi King moves into the lead. Racing inside the final furlong and a half. Followed by Real Dream. To Catch a Thief back in third, and then came the staying on Relentless Voyager inside the final half shortly. Maxi King trying to hold on. Real Dream making a bold effort to the outside, but it's Maxi King who has a length lead, and Maxi King has done it. Maxi King from Real Dream home in second. Relentless Voyager back in third. Then To Catch a Thief.
Ballykeil and Danny Gilligan, just the recipient of his champion conditional award beforehand. On the inside is Digby, Michael O'Sullivan. 2 lengths to Gold Bullion. Spanish Harlem, better times ahead, 4 lengths to Glengooley, then Donaghadee Gale and Cother Harlem. Uphill they go to the next fence. Little changes up front. Cruise Control from Blackjack Magic, Manila Crooner, Ballykeil. On the inside is Digby and then Gold Bullion. As Donaghadee Gale got a reminder. Heading down towards halfway. Cruise Control, Blackjack Magic. A few lengths cleared of Manila Crooner as the loose Battle of Mirbat comes in to join the leaders. And then Ballykeil, Digby, Gold Bullion next. And better times ahead, the final 4 of Spanish Harlem, Glengooley, and that loose horse doing its best to bring some damage into the race. As they take that ditch at the bottom of the track. Cruise Control, Blackjack Magic still 1 and 2. Then Manila Crooner. Ballykeil, Digby, Gold Bullion and better times ahead together. Followed then by Cother Harlem, who's trying to stay on ahead of Donaghadee Gale, struggling. Both Spanish Harlem and Glengooley. Into the back straight they go, another 7 fences left to jump. In the Palmerstown House Estate Pat Taff Handicap Chase. Cruise Control, with back within half a length, Blackjack Magic. 4 in front of Manila Crooner. Something similar clear from Digby and Ballykeel. Then Better Times Ahead and Gold Bullion. Over that first fence in the back straight. Cruise Control, Blackjack Magic, followed all the while by Manila Crooner, nudged along. Then Digby and Ballykeel and Better Times Ahead and Gold Bullion next, followed by Donaghadee Gale and Codda Harla, Spanish Harlem and Glen Gooney now the back marker. 5 fences left to jump as they head for the last ditch at the end of the back straight. Just over 6 furlongs to go. Cruise Control and Stan Shepherd from Blackjack Magic and Rex Dingle. Closer in third is Manila Crooner, Sam Ewing. Right up on the outside is Ballykeel and Danny Gideon. Followed then by Gold Bullion. Better Times Ahead, Digby being pulled up with Spanish Harlem, then Donaghadee Gale, Codda Harla leaving behind Glen Gooley. 5 furlongs to go. The leaders packing up at the end of the back straight. Cruise Control from Blackjack Magic within a neck. Moving into third is Ballykeel, then Better Times Ahead, who's onto the heels of the leaders, then Manila Crooner, Gold Bullion. 2 lengths back to Digby and then Donaghadee Gale and Codda Harla. This is the 4th last fence. Cruise Control landed first. From Blackjack Magic now shaken up. Then Manila Crooner and Better Times Ahead. On the outside is Ballykeel and touches Gold Bullion. Then Donaghadee Gale, Codda Harla, and being eased out of it is Digby. 3 fences left to jump. Cruise Control with a new companion as Manila Crooner is now on terms. Being pulled up before the 3rd last was Digby. In 3rd place, chasing the 2 leaders is Better Times Ahead, then Gold Bullion, Ballykeel falls away, and then Codda Harla and Donaghadee Gale. Turning in with 2 fences left to jump. The leading 3 covered by a couple of lengths. On the inside, Cruise Control in the centres, Manila Crooner, but coming there strongly on the outside is Better Times Ahead, followed then by Gold Bullion. At the 2nd last, Manila Crooner strongly pressed by Better Times Ahead. Breakdown mistake by Ballykeel. Danny Gilligan did well. It's Better Times Ahead on the stand side. Fractional leader from Manila Crooner gone away from Cruise Control. The final fence, Better Times Ahead. Oh, we've hit the top of it. On the inside, given another chance. Manila Crooner, whips flying as well. 100 yards to go. It's Better Times Ahead. We're inching up on the inside. Manila Crooner, head bobbing up the line. Manila Crooner on the inside of Better Times Ahead. That bad mistake of the last was costly.
Oh, what a race that one,
didn't it? You couldn't say palpable non-stayer, but he certainly didn't improve for the trip.
I think they're going, I wouldn't necessarily say steady, but I'd say fairly controlled up top.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good ride in front on Kitan.
Yeah, it looks, absolutely. It seemed very, very comfortable. You've got absolutely no pressure for the lead. It's always dangerous when a good jockey on the Johnson horse gets the solo, and as I say, he's come back to probably a similar form that he showed when winning at Doncaster. He's £6 higher now. That's probably just done for him, but the winner might improve again, mightn't it? If they have a free run at things now, have a proper season, you feel he's got the scope to leave this mark a little bit behind.
Well, he's been gelded in the interim since we last saw him. I mean, when we have seen him, he's run very well, more than respectable.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has.
I just want to track him through because he wasn't initially where your eye was drawn to.
He had a flat spot as well. He wasn't immediately, as you say, he wasn't picking up. He's run like he wants a bit further, and I think he will in time. He's certainly shaped like a horse who a mile and a quarter is a minimum for. The sort of opposite, really, to the horse on the outside, who angles are deceptive, but it seemed like he was coming with a well-timed...
Let's see how they go.
GRP Cabinet's handicap chase, 8 of them to jump 16 fences, and Texard is leading to the first ahead of Nocte Velatus. Texard to Nocte Velatus, or Sporty Jim, nearly unseated at the first, but Charlie Hammond stayed in the plate. So Sporty Jim, one of 2 chasing newcomers in this race, made a mistake at fence number 1. Texard, Nocte Velatus, and Postmobiles Lesser on the outside of the field as they come to the second. The black jacket of Mumbo Jumbo, the green and yellow Magic Dancer, yellow cap the inside, then Fernhill, who's not picked up the bridle yet, racing in 7th ahead of Sporty Jim as the field now get to fence number 3. And it's Texar, Philip Armstrong leading. All of them landing safely over that, and there's one more to take over on the far side of the course before they turn back towards home. And Texard, who won very easily indeed at Market Raisin last month, and he is leading to Nocte Velatus and Cameron Ayres in second. Not much to choose between them. with Magic Dancer in cheek pieces on the inside, Mumbo Jumbo following, Post Nobil's the outside, Lesser wider still, and then Fernhill getting over the next, and the back marker is Sporty Jim. So having taken their first 4 fences, they're leaving the back straight behind them, and it is Texard, 9 times a winner in all throughout his career, and he leads narrowly to Nocte Velatus in second spot. Magic Dancer, who's won 7 times, 3 of those wins for Kerry Lee have come at Cheltenham, no less, and he is on the inside of the course. Post Nobil's Lesser is widest of all under Finn Lambert for the Sea-Level partnership. Here's the first of 4 in the straight, and a lovely big jump from Texard at that. The back 2 continues to be Fernhill and Harry Bannister, and last of all is Sporty Jim, the best turned out winner. So their first open ditch comes up next. Is number 6 of the 16. Texard, Nocte Velatus, Magic Dancer the inside, and then Post Nobil's and Ben Post ahead of Mumbo Jumbo, who's wearing a visor for the first time today. The Black Silks, Lesser is next, and then Fernhill and Sporty Jim. This will be 2 out in another circuit. Texar, Nocte Velatus was somewhat ungainly at that in second, and Lesser went left-handed back in the field as they now come to fence number 8, Nocte Velatus, disputing with Texard, Post Nobil's on the outside. And these are then followed by Magic Dancer on the inner, in the hands of Richard Patrick, ahead of Mumbo Jumbo and Joe Anderson. Lesser is now on the inside of Fernhill, and the back marker is Sporty Jim. 1 circuit to go in the Adept GRP Cabinet's handicap chase. And it's Texard leading under Philip Armstrong. 2. Nocte Velatus in second. Magic Dancer around the inside third. Then Post Nobil's and Mumbo Jumbo. Lesser on the inside of Fernhill. And Sporty Jim is just encouraged along to keep in touch at the back. They've completed a circuit. They've just jumped what was their first. That was number 9. Sporty Jim is just threatening to get a little remote as they head on towards the 10th. Texar, the yellow and black. The light blue and black checks, Nocte Velatus. Magic Dancer, the 12-year-old on the inside. Post Nobil's out wider. Then Mumbo Jumbo, Lesser and Fernhill. And finally, Sporty Jim. 2 left to take over on the far side. 6 in all. Quite well bunched. And it is Texard to Nocte Velatus. Magic Dancer on the inside, just a little bit out jump there by Mumbo Jumbo. And then Lesser and Fernhill. Post Nobil's continues to be wide. So they're about to run down towards the 5th last here. Texard, Nocte Velatus still dispute. Post Nobil's on the outer, the purple and green. Magic Dancer, Mumbo Jumbo, then Lesser, Fernhill, and they're clear of Sporty Jim. Final one in the back, Texard, Nocte Velatus. Nocte Velatus went through that. Texard was a little bit faster and led by a length. Mumbo Jumbo in third, Magic Dancer 4. Post Nobil's is now pushed along in 5th place. Fernhill is in 6th, and then Lesser under pressure in 7th place. So 4 left to take. Sporty Jim is going to be pulled up, about to turn in. Texard has the lead to Nocte Velatus. They are still 1 and 2. Mumbo Jumbo in the black. Post Nobil's, Magic Dancer the inside. Then Fernhill and Lesser. This is the 4th last. Texard just led Nocte Velatus. Mumbo Jumbo, Lesser diving violently left-handed back in 7th as Nocte Velatus joins issue again with Texard. They've still got it to themselves. Here's the last-ditch 3 out. Texard, Nocte Velatus matching one another there. Half a length between them. 2 left to jump. They're 4 clear of Mumbo Jumbo, another 3 to Magic Dancer. Heading now towards the 2nd last. Nocte Velatus on the left, on the right is Texard, and Nocte Velatus just led Texard, who didn't get away from it quickly, slightly impeded Mumbo Jumbo, and Nocte Velatus is away. He's not won in more than 2 years. This is a golden chance. The final fence coming up. Cameron Arles, Nocte Velatus over, and 3 or 4 lengths clear of Mumbo Jumbo, then the weakening Texard, and it's going to be another winner for Tom Lacey here. Nocte Velatus, Mumbo Jumbo sprinting after him, but Nocte Velatus has won it. Nocte Velatus to Mumbo Jumbo 2nd, Texard tired in 3rd, and then Magic Dancer in 4th, Fernhill 5th, and Lesser in 6th.
No look for Tom Lacey over at Punchestown today. There was early in the week, and he enjoyed success here with Nocte Velatus winning big. Mumbo Jumbo, the favourite Texard, only back in 3rd place. Loading forward over at Great Yarmouth. First race there this evening. Hover on the winds, 9 to 10 now 5 to 6. Winning for Fletcher's Light goes into 15 to 2. And Guineas has got the call over at Yarmouth. Evening to you, Enzo.
Hello to you, Martin, and everyone at home as well. Yeah, hot favourite to start things off here. Hover on the Wind. He did run a good race. Just got beaten here at the last meeting when he ran. And yeah, he's a strong fancy to go one better here. Ground now officially good to soft in places. They had a lot of rain here yesterday, apparently. So yeah, got a few more runners on the card later on, including 2 in this race. Trying to get Fletcher's Flight to go in now. Fletcher's Flight, a little bit reluctant to load. Tended to by at least 3 of the handlers. Prince of Bel-Air is in. Zina Colada is in. Jessa Luck is in. We're waiting for Residence, Hover on the Wind, the market leader, and MJK, I think, is at the back as well for our opener. Over the straight, 6 furlongs here. Residence, MJK to complete the line. 7 runners. Rearing now is Fletcher's Flight. But he's okay now, they're off. Jumped away. Runners get over 6 furlongs here for the Quimbet Acca Bonus Confined Handicap Stakes. First to show is Hover on the Wind in the blue and whites. The blue and green of Prince of Bel-Air is handy too towards the left for Alice Bond. These 2 are ahead of Zina Colada in the blue and yellow in the centre. The black of MJK is towards the far side. And then the green and red of Resonance, the red cat of Fletcher's Flight, blue jacket. And the back marker is Jessa Luck in the red and yellow under Saoirse Woods. They make the run towards the centre to stand side. They're being led by Hover on the Wind by about a half length to Zina Colada, and towards the near side Prince of Bel-Air. Nudged along is MJK in the black colours. Behind those is Resonance. Fletcher's Flight in the blue with a red cap trying to get into it. Far side is Jessa Luck as they head down now with 2 furlongs still to go. Hover on the Wind and Marco Gianni is the one to catch. Leads a length clear to MJK in second. And nothing really coming from off the pace here. And Hover on the Wind has got a decent break on the others with a furlong to go. Hover on the Wind, the favourite's clear. Now staying on a bit is Resonance, but it's all Hover on the Wind. Entering the final half furlong, he's in no danger here. A near miss last time. He'll get it right tonight for Chris Dwyer and Marco Gianni. Hover on the Wind is too good. Favourite wins, MJK second, third Fletcher's Flight, and fourth Jessa Luck.
Well, lost somebody around for Hover on the Wind and does the business. Just beaten here last time out. Dropped in grade into a race for horses who haven't won since the back end of last year, and wins for Chris Dwyer in quite handsome style. The couple of notable gambles on that Yarmouth card tonight, most notably Durham Castle in the 7 o'clock, really well supported, but Marco's kept this very simple, always handy, and goes on to beat MJK into second place. And gets off the mark at the 12th attempt. So the winning favourite over at Yarmouth, the favourite vanquished at Uttoxeter. Texardo won by 21 lengths last time out, beaten back into 3rd place this time. Had every chance coming down towards the second last. But Notte Volatus, who was dropped down in grade, had been winless last season. That's seen him come down to a mark of 120. He was down in grade with camera release taken off £7 as well. And he returns to winning ways here for Tom Lacey. Mumbo Jumbo was second. Texardo was third as the 15-8 favourite, just not quite getting home as strongly this time as he did over the 2 miles at Market Raisin. Next pot of call for live action is going to be Hexham's 5 o'clock, 2.5 mile handicap chase there, for which Empty Nest heads the markets. But we do owe you the 3rd race over at Churchill. Very strong favourite for this. It was Mindframe coming from stall 11, a good winner on debut, backed into 4-11. Cornishman was backed against him at 11-2, Invigorated 15-2, 10 bar the 3.
And they're off. And Mindframe from that outside post is racing to the lead, and Mindframe clears the field and finds the rail by the time they hit the first turn. So Mindframe steps out to lead by 2. Higgins Boat and Mena are chasing second and third. Mindframe the leader on the first turn, and now Higgins Boat is a clear second. Mena's comes out in third. Cornishman toward the inside is racing in fourth. Elephant's Ears alongside of Cartucho. They're together about 6 lengths off the lead in 5th and 6th. A break of 2 lengths from there back to Anthem King. And at the back early is Invigorated. So down the back stretch run, Mind Frame, the big favorite, is just coasting along. Negotiates an opening quarter mile in a moderate 24 3/5 seconds. There's 4.5 furlongs to go. The opening half was 49 seconds flat. Higgins Boat's a little bit closer for the final half mile, but it's still Mind Frame the leader. Higgins Boat with more pressure now. Higgins Boat comes right up alongside of Mind Frame as they round the far turn. Mina's 3 wide on that far turn run. Cornishman is right there too. Elephant's Ears in the thick of things, only 2 lengths off the lead. Farther back, Cartucho's coming under pressure, so too Invigorated. At the back is Anthem King, and up top it's Mind Frame, who goes by the quarter pole in control. Higgins Boat is set down for the drive, but Mind Frame is 2, and Mind Frame with an instant response kicks away by 4 and now by 5 past the final furlong marker. Mind Frame high gear for the final furlong. Cornishman's trying to run up into second inside of Higgins Boat, but it is all Mind Frame and a masterful front-running ride from Murad Ortiz Jr. Cornishman did get second. Higgins Boat was third. Anthem King fourth.
The 3 winning favourites on that Kentucky Derby undercarded. This time it's a Mind Frame backed into 4-11. He was pretty impressive on debut and he's taken this field apart. Beat his market rival Cornishman into second. Higgins Boat back in third at 40-1. But Mind Frame 2 out of 2, winning the third at Churchill. Oh, it's going to be a busy evening with NBC from 8:30. Before that, though, Matt Chapman takes you through the rest of the evening. Not just Churchill, where Frankie's got a couple of very good rides for Charlie Appleby later on today. There's also Hexham, Uttoxeter, and will be at Great Yarmouth as well.
But he was prominently positioned, which was a positive at that meeting. Should just mention, actually, one of the horses from the near side group who was beaten, admittedly from a hold-up ride, Katijan, has come out to win since to kind of frank that form, particularly amongst those that might have been in the slightly disadvantaged group. But yeah, Trefor ran very, very well. I think he's a horse that kind of wants a good test at 6 or maybe an easy 7.
Which he's possibly not going to get now. The next race at Punchestown, the Juvenile, is going to be hard on the heels of our 4:45, which is only running the 4.5 minutes late. So unfortunately, I suspect there'll still be some sort of clash unless we get on with this very, very quickly. Of the rest, any that you'd like to put forward?
James's Delight was obviously up in grade last time out and up in trip when below form at Newbury. Before that, had won by a wide margin at Ponty, but maybe form to treat with a pinch of salt, given how testing the ground was on that occasion. 2 Tribes, really consistent and solid last year, ended the campaign with a run that was right up with his best, really, at Ayr. Maybe better is going to be required, and he might not have as much in hand as some.
And they're off. 6 furlongs for the William Hill Bet in Running Handicap Stakes. We Never Stop in pink and green with the noseband, one of the first ones to begin. Eye of Dubai is right up there in the blue and the red, and joining them out wider is Chagrin. Chagrin now pressing into the lead from Eye of Dubai down the centre. We Never Stop the far side alongside World of Darcy. Behind that principal group then Trefor, who's together with South Shore, then 2 Tribes. Further back there to the left-hand side, completely random. The green and yellow for Dapper Valley, the white and green for Moswat, and then James's Delight, who's now moving up through the field. They race through halfway then, and not much in it for the lead. With the noseband to the right-hand side, Chagrin. Trefor comes there in the yellow and dark blue. Eye of Dubai just drops away a little bit there. We Never Stop ridden for more. 2 Tribes is trying to come into it, then James's Delight. They're racing now down towards the final furlong and a half. Trefor and Chagrin level up top. 2 Tribes joins in the far side. James's Delight is coming home well near side. The 4 of them across the track. Inside the final half shortly, 2 Tribes, Chagrin and James's Delight. Little in it across the circuit. It's near side James's Delight coming home with better. James's Delight has beaten 2 Tribes. Then Chagrin, clear from Trefor.
James's Delight has got the better of 2 Tribes. They are off and running at Punchestown.
Over 2 miles and 9 flights, and it's New Berkring, the first to show in front from Stormheart, followed by Cattle de Tourelle. Handy Eastern Legend on the outside of Butler's Secret with a couple of lengths to Bunting. Red Cap with Miss Manzer on the outside, held up in these early stages is Cargés, with 3 lengths back to Batman Jirak and High Wind together at the tail end of the field. Moving through to head them off, on the outside is Miss Manza. Alongside is Eastern Legend. Close to the inside rail is New Berkring. Within between horses, Bottler's Secret. Miss Manza taking off the leaders as they go towards the second flight. And it's Eastern Legend, Miss Manza, Bottler's Secret, and New Berkring in a line. 2 lengths back to Bunting. And then Cattle de Tourelle and Stormheart knocked back. Place or 2 outside mid-division, and then Cargés 2 lengths to Batman Jirak and High Wind, flight number 3. Eastern Legend over in front from New Berkring. On the outside is Miss Manza. These 3 covered by less than 2 lengths. Tracked downhill by Bottler's Secret, then a couple of lengths to Cattle de Tourelle, punting alongside. On the inner is Stormheart, then Cargés, the final couple. Batman Jirak and High Wind. Continuing downhill of flight number 4. It's Eastern Legend. Jordan Gainford in the lead from Miss Manza, Rachel Blackmore on the outside of New Berkring and J.J. Slevin. In between them is Bottler's Secret and Sean Flanagan, then Bunting, Stormheart, Cattle de Tourelle next, and Cargés, Batman Jirak and High Wind. Swinging a right to head into the back straight. Another 5 flights left to jump, and striding on by 3 lengths is Eastern Legend. Followed round the turn by Miss Manza, then New Berkring. Turning in 4th is Bottler's Secret, and then Bunting. Stormheart next, followed by Cattle de Tourelle. Cargés is 2 behind Batman Jirak and High Wind. Over the first of the 2 flights in the back straight, it's Eastern Legend, the leader, from Miss Manza, New Berkring next. And then Bottler's Secret, Stormheart on the inside of stable companion Bunting. And then Cattle de Tourelle with the back 3, Cargés, Batman Jirak and High Wind. 4 flights left to jump as they head inside halfway. Eastern Legend over the next from Miss Manza. Red Cap just second from New Berkring, and then Bottler's Secret. After the unbeaten Bottler's Secret is Bunting, and then Stormheart, Cattle de Tourelle. Final 3 are Cargés, Batman Jirak and High Wind. Turning off the back straight, 5.5 furlongs to go, 3 flights left to jump. And the Ballymore champion 4-year-old hurdle, it's Eastern Legend by 2.5 lengths to New Berkring, edging into second ahead of Miss Manza, then Bottler's Secret. Bunting next. Stormheart on the inside of Cattle de Tourelle, then Cargés. Still held up out the back. Final couple coming off that turn, Batman Jirak and High Wind. 3 to jump. It's Eastern Legend with a reduced advantage of a length over New Berkring. Third is Miss Manza, then Bottler's Secret. Stormheart on the inside of Bunting, then Cattle de Tourelle. Novice at that was Eastern Legend, and joined by New Berkring, a length in front of Miss Manza. Bunting has made a move on the outside, then Bottler's Secret. Next, Stormheart, followed by Cattle de Tourelle. Cargés still being waited with. Batman Jirak, the back mark of the leading group, leaving behind High Wind. Running round the home turn, 2.5 furlongs to go and 1 flight to jump, and New Berkring has gone for home. Kicks into a 2 lead from Eastern Legend. Bottler's Secret is next, followed by Bunting. After them is Stormheart and Batman Jirak. Miss Manza weakens, and then on the outside, Cargés with plenty of ground to make up. Cattle de Tourelle next. They're coming down to the final flight. New Berkring is pressed by Bottler's Secret. On the outside, quickening up, Stormheart with Eastern Legend in between horses, bearing down into Miss Cargés. The final flight. Anyone a 5. Bottler's Secret, New Berkring here on the outside with the wet sailors. Cargés who's mowing them down. Cargés from the back of the field steps up a place on entry, and Cheltenham, the Ballymore champion 4-year-old, as the last grade 1 goes to Paul Town and William Mullins. Bottler's Secret, New Berkring, Stormheart followed it.
It didn't look probable for a while, did it? But Cargés has got there in the end. The 9-4 favourite under Paul Townend for the William Mullins team. This is Thirsk, and this is a handicap at the moment.
Yep, they are. So the Clive Cox team, they're just a winner. Feature of this race, 4-horse race, no half measures, put in even money in the morning paper, 6-4 with the bookmakers, and has drifted out to 7-2. So in a 4-horse race, that is a heck of a drift.
It is.
A horse who's she's done her winning on the all-weather. This is her first run in a handicap. But she acts on the surface. You'd think that she'd have a chance, but it's soft ground. It's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty testing for her. So Yeah, it's a competitive enough race, but Cypriot Diaspora could be interesting for the Millmans. And Gina Mangan claiming 3.
Yeah, 13-8 favourite then, as they arrive down at the start. Still a lovely afternoon there. Here's Anthony.
Thank you, Angus. Yes, short price Cypriot Diaspora off the back of that Nottingham win. A race that we were just discussing, Stephen, for one reason or another, all of them have an element of something to prove.
Yeah, I'd be starting off sort of almost against all of them. It's silly. Favourite because of the price, really. It looked to be a career best effort last time at Nottingham. Yard's in very good form. Favourite because of the price, really. It looked to be a career best effort last time at Nottingham. Yard's in very good form. The second didn't do much for the form next time out. The only limited evidence so far, but just don't know how strong a race that was at Nottingham. Clearly one of the players because he's in form. No half measures, who Dave was saying has been a big drift for him. Well, it's no surprise really in terms of he's just got lots of different things to prove. Both wins have been, all runs have been on the all-weather. They've all been at 6 furlongs. Today's 5.
Yeah, interesting. Lots of different scenarios to prove. Dashing Harry, I think I agree with you out of the 3 principals at the top, but although McLovin is now starting to come in for support as well, I would probably be a tentative selection based on the fact that, I mean, all of them can improve, but Dashing Harry comes into this, should strip fitter for the Windsor return.
Yeah.
Has proven himself on a variety of different grounds.
That's the thing. I mean, we've already mentioned about no half measures first time on turf and on soft ground. McLovin's got to prove himself on soft ground. Had one go on it, was well beaten. His form at the moment, limited evidence. The best form's been on the all-weather. We've already dealt with the favourite. Dashing Harry's only win came on heavy ground, so ground not a problem. It was an all-right run on his reappearance at Windsor, so you know, not bad. That was his handicap bow as well. You'd think his trip a bit better. The ground's okay. He's got. It doesn't mean he's no good thing. He's just got less doubts about him. Whether he's good enough at the weights, we're just one of these people one of these horses who haven't been running on the turf might be much better on it.
Who did you think might be going forward?
Yeah, don't know, to be perfectly truthful.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Don't know any 4 runners, but no, I wasn't sure. Maybe no, don't know.
No half measures has been keen in her races. I wouldn't be surprised if George Rook kind of has his hand forced to some degree.
Possibly, but that's over a longer trip, wasn't it? Whether he'll be...
Yeah.
I agree, that is probably the most likely, but I don't know.
I think he'll be hoping that something takes his filly along.
Yeah.
11-4 now, 6-4 Cypriot Diaspora, Dashing Harry 5-2, no half measures out to 3-1, and McLovin out to 11-2, having got as low as 9-2, and Cypriot Diaspora is your 13-8 favourite. Hard market to work out. If you're going on market clues alone, I think you might get muddled. I'm confused.
Absolutely.
And we will see exactly how it plays out. No half measures, looks like she'll be the last to go forward. With our thanks, it's up to Ian Bartlett for the finale.
No half measures, and George Rook coming forward now. And that's it. All in, ready. They're off. 5 furlongs to trip here. Dashing Harry in the blues, a little bit awkward away, but McLovin in the brown jacket, quick away. Leads them as they run down the hill. Well over 1.5 lengths ahead. Cypriot Diaspora on the left. The yellow sleeve jacket, the best turned out winner. No half measures in the centre. Green and white jacket, orange cap, and Dashing Harry is a half length behind these. They head then down to the final 3 furlongs, and it's McLovin showing in front. On the extreme left is Cypriot Diaspora. Then one from the right is no half measures in the green and white jacket, and Dashing Harry is at the back of the field. They've 2 furlongs to go still. McLovin showing in front with Cypriot Diaspora coming under pressure on the extreme left, and the danger to the leaders now. No half measures with the orange cap as they come to the furlong pole. No half measures has gone through to take it up. Second position for McLovin. Cypriot Diaspora behind these, and then Dashing Harry, but no half measures. The full measure here, 3 or 4 lengths clear. Routed them. McLovin in second, Cypriot Diaspora in third, and then Dashing Harry.
Bolted up, no half measures. Great performance, had a lovely setup into the race. We knew that she stayed further based on her dual wins over 6 furlongs and dropped to 5 has been no problem in a race that was pretty frenetic, Steve.
I think the strong pace really helped, but to be fair, would he go on grass? Absolutely would he go on grass. Would he be effective at 5? Well, it's a truly run race, completely effective, and he might have drifted like mad, but he was by a mile the best horse in the race. McLovin showed good pace, and it was a perfectly decent run. Cypriot Disposer, I say, I'm just not sure that form is great at Nottingham. Maybe he's not as effective here either, I don't know. He was hanging from some way out, and Dashing Harry was woeful.
Yeah, never in it. Dashing Harry, Cypriot Dispora, head to one side, has not really built on that Nottingham run. Maybe the form, as you say, hasn't amounted to much. It's already, you can pick holes in it coming into this, and you can pick further holes in it. A mark of 82 has been laughed at.
Yes.
You would slightly worry that the handicapper could take this absolutely literally, and suddenly she's into a race where life is going to be life's going to be tougher anyway. But I just think there might have been some circumstances to lead. She is unlikely necessarily to get exactly this setup once again.
It's hard to think it was a formful race with seemingly two horses not running, one horse not running the race at all, and one horse seemingly hanging the chance away. So, yeah, I'm with you. Who knows what the form's worth? But you can't deny the horse was impressive. And,
absolutely.
You know, horses who win tend to win, don't they? He went straight by without looking, lovely shape, and he's certainly got a good attitude. And you know what he wants, who knows? I'm sure he'd have no problem stepping back up the 6 the way he finished his race off. But good. I mean, he won the all-weather. He's won on turf. He won on 5. He won on 6. He's a winner.
Good placement by Richard Hughes. It hasn't been an all plain sailing couple of days for him. He's had some excellent chances. They haven't worked out. He'll be delighted he's going home on a winner.
He will. And some of the others who've been beaten have still shown promise. Like the Thing in the First was by no means disgraced. So, I mean, it's been a good start to the season for him. So you're going to have a few setbacks on the way, aren't you?
Absolutely. I'm interested to see what McLovin can offer going forward. First try of the turf, decent run.
Pacey.
Pacey.
You think sharp tracks would always suit, wouldn't you? You know, here, Brighton, places like that. In the right company, probably find a race, yeah.
Well, no half measures on a day, Angus, when the sun shines out at Goodwood. Very rarely is a half measure ever asked for. And we certainly, as Ian Bartlett said in commentary, we got the full measure in our finale. Hat-trick up for no half measures.
Good performance, wasn't it, Dunkers? I thought it's quite impressive. Handicap debutant, no half measures, weak in the market, as Dave was telling us. Yep. But still wins. Bit of a drifter.
To be on Betslog guarantee, that's for certain, if that still exists for anyone.
Well, yeah, indeed. 3-1 no half measures. McLovin 11-2, and Cypriot Diaspora was the favourite at 13-8. Let's have a look at the times there today. Last two not too bad at all. This is the best of the day. No half measures over the minimum trip, but by and large, those times were very much soft ground ones.
The final start, please. And this is horse number 14, Chris Dixon, who we're starting with, and that is Kodiak Thriller for Will Bjork and Charlie Hills.
Yeah, he has got a win on the board. That came on his final start at Lingfield just before Christmas. Enjoyed a really easy lead and a tactical advantage on that occasion. 133 days since then, but returns with his yard in decent enough form, and he looks fit and well.
Number 11 is Rockstar Icon, returning to the turf off the back of a win in December at Lingfield.
He had long gaps between each of his last couple of runs, really. He was off a good while prior to winning at Lingfield after that second at Haydock, and he's been off again a little while since. Those bits of form over 7 furlongs show that he's got proven stamina. I think he'll need to take another step forward on what he's done so far, but looks like he's done quite well physically.
Jungle Mac is number 13. He's markedly on his toes. Charlie Bishop, Jack Shannon.
Yeah, he's warm and edgy, isn't he, the son of Bungle in the Jungle. He's likely to show a bit of early speed. Ran well at Kempton on his most recent start, enjoying the run of things.
Get number 10 in, who's behind. That's Run Boy Run in the Phil Cunningham colours. Number 10, Kieran Schumacher, Richard Spencer.
A keen-going sort of horse who didn't run too badly here on his seasonal return at the Craven meeting. He was fairly well positioned as that race went, but he's race fit and in form.
Spin round to our left, and we'll go past some horses and pick up horse number 2, who's about 4 or 5 back. Horse number 2 with the Australian noseband on is Christian David. Ryan Moore for Richard Hannon.
Yeah, Ryan Moore, as you say, taking the ride aboard this horse, who again is race fit and in form. He wasn't beaten far off, £2 lower at Newbury on his most recent start. That was on slower ground, but he's got form here at the back end of last season on a quicker surface, and conditions as they are today should be absolutely fine.
I think he looks pretty well. Number 7 is Pure Foy, Oisin Murphy, Andrew Balding, another winner at Lingfield when last seen over 7.
Yeah, and again had an easy enough time with things out in front. He's been gelded since then. He got the better of Twirler on that occasion. He's been beaten a couple of times. I think he probably looks like he's handicapped up to his form, and he might just need to progress in order to defy his rating.
Number 6 is Betty's Bay. She's on her toes. She's had her win done.
Yeah, warm and edgy, well enough held up in grade last time.
Who's a few horses back, and that is Romani. He has got the hood on for the first time. He's also been gelded. He's a big price.
Yeah, and with good reason. I think he's improved a little bit on his last 2 starts on the all-weather, but that level of form doesn't have the depth to it that 1 or 2 of the others have.
Royal Zabir will come out of 14. Neil Cullen for Kevin Ryan. That's number 3.
Yeah, he's up towards the top of the weights. He's one that catches the eye in the paddock, actually. He's a good, strong type. A little bit fitter, but he's well enough. He won at Ponty by a wide margin second time out last year, and then he was up in grade when trying this sort of trip. A trip that shouldn't be a problem. He's by Master Craftsman out of a mare that got almost 7 furlongs.
Again, we'll go left, and we'll pick up a few about 5 back or 4 back. Number 9, first of all, is Love Billy Boy, who tried some decent 2-year-old contests last year. Sean Levy rides for Richard Hannon.
Yeah, and on his return to action, it was just a little bit too fresh here at the Craven meeting, a little bit too far back in that race won by Woodhay Wonder, the form of that taking a couple of knocks in the previous race. Wouldn't read too much into that. He is just a little bit on his toes, isn't he? And he might be free enough once again. Maybe the freshness hasn't quite been knocked out of him. He's a horse that they'd tried in blinkers previously.
Behind Purefoy last time was Pedro Valentino. That's number 15, the grey son of Phoenix of Spain. Clive Cox, Richard Kingsgate looking for a quick-fire double.
Yeah, he went round the inside, which sometimes isn't the best place to be around Lingfield. So did the winner for much of the race, to be fair. He just was ridden like a horse that needed the run, really. He wasn't given a hard time, and I think he'll take a step forward for it. He's £7 better off. Wouldn't be surprised if he reversed the form for a yard. They'd have had a good day.
Just picking up the last few who we haven't done. One is number 8. So again, we're going to go to about 3 or 4 back. Horse number 8 is Pitney, off a mark of 81 for James Doyle and Hugo Palmer.
Yeah, got better by the run, really, last year, culminating in a win at Wolverhampton. All of his form so far is on the all-weather. Opening mark of 81. Looks fair enough. He might yet progress a bit more.
And we're going to finish up with Kita Kotai, who is a daughter of Kotai Glory, unsurprisingly, for Ed Walker and Tom Marquand. Has had 1 run this season 3 weeks ago.
And looks like one who should be suited by coming back up in trip, judged on that return to action at Wolverhampton over 6. Has previous form over 7 furlongs, and the step back up in trip looks a real positive.
Field of 19 on their way out for a penultimate race.
1-1, it's 9-1 Pure Foy. Pitney, 11s, 12s Indivar, Kodiak Thriller 14s, the same for Pedro Valentino, and 16s and bigger. The rest, 19 go. This looks wide open here, Dave. 5-1 for the Ryan Moore. Merrick Christian. David, no luck for Ryan today.
Sorry.
I said no luck for Ryan today so far.
Not as yet, but they're persistent lot, the Ryan Moore supporters, backing each of his runners. That's Kita Kotai going down a little bit free, but it's only a 7 furlong race, so his jockey's got him now. But Christian David being very well supported, almost halved in price. But the interesting one for me is another Harry Eustace horse. Is this Harry Did. Run well in 3 all-weather races, switches to turf now. I'm convinced the stable are in decent form. He's drawn 18. He's very close to Christian David, depending on where the pace is in this uber-competitive 3-year-old handicap. He's about an 8-1 chance, Harry Did, and easy to back. But he's the horse of Goodwood. Bill Silvers has just run really quite well after drifting, so I'm not too bothered about about that. Purifoy is another drifter for me, for Andrew Balding and Oisin Murphy. Both have had a winner so far this afternoon. It's a race to watch lots of times because there'll be lots of future winners in it, but I'm hoping that Harry Did might be able to beat the well-backed Christian David.
OK, Harry Did for Dave here. 13-2 shot in this 5:15 at Newmarket. Heading to post, we can go and rejoin Lydia and Chris.
OK, so we were just chatting over on Extra about some bigger priced horses that Chris fancied. The first one was Precious On, who ran really well over 7 furlongs at the Craven meeting here against the run of the race or the way that the track was riding.
Yeah, not many horses right the way through that meeting managed to get competitive from off the pace. It's a theme that we've mentioned a couple of times during the course this afternoon. This does look like a possible pace burn-up, and something from further back could get involved. And Precious On, I thought, ran very well at a time when plenty of the yards horses were needing a run. Now, he was a bit more exposed than some last year, but he was also very consistent. And given the way that he ran last time out, I thought at a big price he did have a chance. I do think that Harry Did, who's more towards the floor of the market, looks like unexposed with improvement in him, and I think you might find that improvement as he returns to 7 furlongs for the first time since his debut. Slight downside might be that his by Exceeding Excel and all of his form so far is on the all-weather, but on decent turf, Exceeding Excel is his progeny are often fully effective out of a mare that got to a high enough level. And that Kempton form last time out when he was beaten in a tight photo, it's worked out really well. He had 3 next time out winners in behind him in 4th, 5th and 6th, and just watching that back again last night, he definitely looked like he would be suited by going back up to 7.
I like that Dan family as well. It's the family of Nell Quickly, isn't it?
Yeah.
The favourite is Christian David, however, who was 3rd behind Tarab, not beaten very far at Newbury last time. It wasn't a big upgrade of any of his previous form. He's more of a consistent character than anything else.
He is. He's ground versatile. He's very consistent. He's got form at this track. Time of the race was pretty good, and it suggests that he's probably on a mark off which he can. But he's a very solid option. He's got Ryan Moore aboard for the first time. You can't take that as a negative. It does mean that he doesn't have a £5 claim off his back, so Ryan needs to get £5 more out of him than Joe Levy was doing with his claim.
I'm slightly surprised that he's favoured, and obviously I'm taking note of that because of the market making a strong signal for the reasons the 2 reasons that you've just outlined. How about Kita Kotai, who I can see because she looks as though she's capable of better than she's so far shown, but even in what she has shown, she's getting better all the time.
Yeah, she is. She found a bit of a spike in form for the application of some cheek pieces last year, didn't she, when she went close here? That was on the back of a run at York, and when you look at that York run back, you can see why they went for the headgear. Went to Wolverhampton on her most recent start, and she went round the inside and just a little bit outpaced, and then not given an overly hard time, I didn't think, late on. And it was a really encouraging return to action. A return to action that I think suggests that she might just have improved since last year. And back up to this trip, you might see another step forward. So she'd be high enough up the list, I think, because there's likely to be a bit more to come from her.
And then there's Purefoy, who very much upgraded his form on handicap debut at Lingfield last time.
Yeah, he was out in front, and he had an easy enough time of things out in front. The horse that he beat, Swirler, won subsequently, but has then kind of run in handicaps off marks in the low 70s and been held. Kind of looks to me like Purefoy will have to progress again to defy a mark of 82. He doesn't look really well treated off that mark, I didn't feel, but there could be a little bit more to come. He's got one of those that was in behind him in Pedro Valentino reopposing here, and Pedro Valentino does have a £7 pull at the weights, and he really did run like a horse that was in need of the run, and almost like they knew he was going to be in need of the run at Lingfield behind Purefoy. He wasn't given a hard time, he was just nursed home really, but he had looked like he was going to make some sort of an impact on the race early in the straight, so I wouldn't be surprised if he took a step forward and indeed if he reversed that form.
Okay, the
second horse, just a bit of problems there from Victor's Gold. They're just about set. Here we go.
They're off.
Bolognese was a bit slow for the British European Breeders' Fund. EBF Newcomers Maiden, breaking well Benevento for Ammo Racing in the purple. The light blue of Cyclonite is up there too, and they're being followed then by Invictus Gold in the pink and black stripe colours. The black and maroon of Sir Palamedes. Towards the far side is Bolognese in the blue and red hoops, the white cap, and the back marker Havana Blast. That's the light green sleeves, white cap as they race against towards the centre of the racecourse here and head for the final 3 furlongs. So up front in the middle, it is Benevento from a nudged along Cyclonite. Towards the far side, Bolognese, the white cap is trying to get into it. Sir Palamedes moving quite well, just off the speed for Shane Kelly as they head down with 2 furlongs to go. It's still Benevento in front though, leads a length clear. Stand side, Havana Blast making good ground. The light green sleeves is a big danger now, and it's now Havana Blast and Ross Coakley have come to tackle Benevento. Far side, Bolognese. These 3 go on. Benevento still there in the centre. Bolognese far side running on, but up front it's Benevento who's going to make most here for Ammo Racing. Benevento makes a winning debut and beats Bolognese into second place. Third was Havana Blast. In behind them tight for fourth, Sir Palamedes or Cyclonite.
Well done to Billy Lott then, the young wonder kid hit, ready for Dominic French Davis on a Wooten Bassett offspring and of a Whipper mare. The juice in the ground will probably suit this horse going forward.
Earlier this week, Kate Bourbon has won at Ayr since.
I'm funny, Gary.
Does he deserve to be this short, though?
No. So if you're looking for value, now I know he's been to entry since, but William Mullins has had 8 winners at the Punchestown Festival. 5 of those, and the 3 that didn't win were Lossiemouth Statement and Ballyburn, and to be honest, they were long odds on. But the rest of them have all run between Cheltenham and here. Oldcastle-le-Mott has been to entry, and as free as Waterford Whispers was in the Martin Pipe, Oldcastle-le-Mott was every bit as keen. So I think at the prices, I'd be siding with him. I mean, he's an awful lot bigger and better value than Waterford Whispers, and Oldcastle-le-Mott will be the one for me.
Shortest price to the Mullins contingent and the Mount of Pultown is a Olympic man. He just got nailed close home in a valuable novice handicap hurl at Fairyhouse last time. 3 miles that day, Ruby. Do you think dropping down in distance will be a help?
I think dropping down in distance will help him, Gary, but going faster and having to jump at more speed, I'm not so sure. I just think that his jumping has left a little bit to be desired at times. He was very good in his very first start, but since then it's deteriorated for whatever reason. But he's a big engine. I know he's a horse that Willie really likes, and we're hoping he can go thereabouts, but he has to jump as well as he's ever jumped. Better than he's ever jumped.
I don't think I've ever seen a horse jump as badly and still win as he did at Naas 2 starts back in that maiden hurdle. So the engine is definitely there. And we are at post time now, and it looks like they're ready to roll at Newmarket.
Synchronised start, and this is called.
Very impressive. Let's go to Newmarket.
Sugar Loaf Lenny into stall number 20. They look about set. Often racing away. The 19 of them jump over 7 furlongs to the William Hill. Keep your race day positive. Confined handicap stakes. Well into stride was Kodiak Thriller from stall number 6 in the yellow sleeves and cap. Down the centre, Pure 4 in the yellow and black is also handy early on, in company with Love at Billy Boy. They're followed then by Pedro Valentino far side. In amongst horses is Jungle Mac. Royal Zabeel now moving through the field to have a prominent role as well in the blue and the white with the noseband. They made their way towards halfway. Kodiak Thriller, Love Billy Boy, Jungle Mac, and with those Betty's Bay and Pedro Valentino. More still down the centre, handy is Pure 4 from Quatre Bras and Romani. Then Royal Zabeel and Pitney. That one tracked on the near side by Sugar Loaf at Lenny. And then followed by Indavan, the 2 shades of green. A 4-way go for the lead up front, but it's now Royal Zabeel and Neil Callan who've moved into the overall lead from Pure 4. Far side Kodiak Thriller with Love Billy Boy. Jungle Mac trying to stick on. Rockstar Icon is getting prominent as well over toward the left-hand side in the blue and the white. They're racing now down inside the final furlong and a half. Kodiak Thriller joined by Love Billy Boy. Rockstar Icon in third. Kita Kotai in black and white running on. Then Pedro Valentino Martino, Run Boy Run is next. They're racing inside the final half, and it's Love Billy Boy and Sean Levy who now go on. Keita Kotai, the final challenger. Keita Kotai coming home well at Love Billy Boy. It's a tight call between them. Keita Kotai, Love Billy Boy, not much in it. Behind him in third then was the long-time prominent Kodiak Thriller and a multi-horse photo for fourth.
Well, it's very tight there. Keita Kotai, Fred Walker and Tom Marquand and Love Billy Boy together. Love Billy Boy this side. Keita Kotai far side, maybe.
Let's see.
Maybe. We will let you know. Here's Jerry Hannon at Punchestown.
As Waterford Whispers, then Facile Mode was running the raid. Western Walk, the outside Stoke the Farm and the Wall Park. Watch the Weather and the Capo next, then O'Castle de Mott. Ambitious Fellow, Red Cap on the inside of Canal End. Slow jump there by Ambitious Fellow as they stream up in front of us with the circuit to go. Beacon Edge by half to Gigaro, then the Very Man. Rispel, Facile Mode, Lucky Zebo, Stoke the Farm making its way up to the leaders. Then De Capo and Western Walk next with Waterford Whispers in the Wall Park and Watch the Weather and Cater's Revenge and Moon Over Tone. Monbeck Park and Ambitious Fellow, no Castle de Mott next. Then Canal End, Comfort Zone is well back, so too towards the rear. Olympic Man with Chapeau de Soleil ridden along. Going uphill to the next flight is One Last Tango, and bringing up the rear by a couple of lengths is Ping at the Park. Beacon Edge landed just in front from Gigaro as they turn towards the next flight. Stoke the Fire is now prominent and goes up to join issue with Beacon Edge as they turn towards the flight, which is the fifth. Beacon Edge joined by Stoke the Fire, then Gigaro. Another improver is De Capo on the outside, then Rispel and the Very Man and Lucky Zebo as they go downhill. It's Gigaro rejoining stable companion Beacon Edge, then Stoke the Fire and De Capo is next, then the Very Man and Facile Mode on the inside of Waterford Whispers, then Lucky Zebo taking off from the back of the field as Olympic Man to race onto the heels of the leaders, then Western Walk as they go down towards the halfway stage. Another 5 flights left to jump. Close run thing for the lead. Gigaro on the inside of Beacon Edge, attended by Stoke the Fire, then Facile Mode. The Very Man next with De Capo, Waterford Whispers and Rispel. Lucky Zebo, Castle de Mott creeping up on the inside. Followed then by Western Walk and Olympic Man and Ambitious Fellow. Canal End next with Moon Over Clone. And then Monbeck Park and Watch the Weather and Chapeau de Soleil next on the inside as they make the bend as Comfort Zone. Then the Wall Park has lost ground. Continuing towards the back is One Last Tango with Cater's Revenge and Ping at the Park. They've passed halfway, 5 flights left to jump as they head down the far side. Gigaro landed in company with Beacon Edge, followed by Stoke the Fire and De Capo next. On the inside is Facile Mode with the Very Man and Rispel and Waterford Whispers, the White Cap. They're very tightly boxed up with 4 flights left to jump, taking them back to the point at which they started, and the SPK Gold Trophy Handicap over 2.5 miles as they rise at the next. Gigaro just out jump Beacon Edge, followed by Stoke the Fire and De Capo close up fourth on the outside, and Facile Mode, Waterford Whispers, the Very Man. Western Walk next with Rispel and Lucky Zebo, and then Olympic Man. Ambitious Fellow of Castle de Mott on the inside, followed by Canal End as they turn out of the back straight. It's Gigaro continuing up front with Stoke the Fire in between them as Beacon Edge. On the inside, hot on their heels, Facile Mode, pushed along momentarily in the White Cap, Waterford Whispers as they turn to the third last flight. Many in with chances. Gigaro, fractional leader from Beacon Edge, Stoke the Fire. On the inside, Facile Mode, then the Very Man and De Capo next with Waterford Whispers, no Castle de Mott and Western Walk. Then by Stoke the Fire and Comfort Zone as they come to the final flight, and it's Western Walk who just has it on the stand side from Beacon Edge, then the Very Man as they come to the final. Very Man, Western Walk tight close home, and they're followed in by Stoke the Fire. Over to you, Judge.
This has got really tight. Chapeau de Soleil was flashing home. Has he got there? Has the post come too soon? I think your initial reaction was that he hadn't, Ruby.
No, I had thought the orange Australian noseband was on the horse on the far side, but the orange Australian rubber noseband is the one that's in front, and that's on Chapeau de Soleil.
Yeah, I think he has got there, hasn't he?
That's what I thought. I actually thought that the orange bride was on Beacon Edge. It's not. It's on Willie Mullins' the orange rubber.
Some run out of Beacon Edge for Danny Gilligan and Gordon Elliott, but I think you'd be favouring Chapeau de Soleil looking at that. Moon over Clune right in there as well, together with Western Walk, who looked all over the winner when going to the front, approaching the last.
Jammed on, gave it a foot. Didn't land running, unfortunately for him.
Very Man's in the mix there as well. Stoked the fire just in behind. It was ultra competitive and they didn't go a great gallop. They were very well bunched up, turning into the straight.
It was messy, as the fella would say.
Very much so. And the judge give it a time to deliver the verdict here, but Chapeau de Soleil on handicap debut here.
Jumped well for Brian Hayes. Had jumped poorly in the Lawlers of Naas Hotel Novices Hurdle. Gave himself no chance. Had one since where he jumped okay, coming from the back under Paul Tynan, but he's a long way back here.
And he has won. He was only, what, about 6th, jumping 7th, maybe jumping the last.
Yeah.
But he was really building up ahead of steam at that stage. Gets a nice split in between horses and nails Beacon Edge right on the line. Moon over Clune up there in between them, running a blinder. Frantic finish, returns at 16 to 1 the winner. And Brian Hayes, been a quiet week for him.
Funny one, you were asking me earlier, Gary, you were talking about Danny Gilligan and where his career goes from now, and you look at Cullen Tra with Jack Kennedy, Jordan Gainford, Sam Ewing, Danny Gilligan, and it's about having patience. Like Brian Hayes is probably 5th, 6th in the pack, 4th, 5th in the pecking order, and Willie Mullins is. But when you're riding for yards as big as this or that, you're going to get chances, and this is a huge pot. And somewhere along the way, you get your chance, and when you get your chance, you have to take it, and he's taken it this afternoon. He's directly behind Olympic Man in the brown and yellow in the Miss Susanna Ritchie colours. He's a long way back, but they've gone slow, and from here it was who was going to get a run, an uninterrupted run. Whatever Whispers, your favourites in the white cap, directly behind Beacon Edge, who's in a great position, Stoked the Fire in the light blue. The very man who's involved in the finish from the Nico de Bonville is in the red, about 5th or 6th place. O'Castle and Mott's down the inside on the Danny Mullins. Risk Bell is fading backwards in the green cap with the white star, but like it was, what do you pick here? Which one do you want to be on, wasn't it?
That's it. And the eventual winner still had a lot of horses to pass at this stage, but he has always been, I think, well regarded, hasn't he, Ruby? He was supposedly, anyway, one of your top bumper horses when he was in that division. See him still here, even switching inside now, going over that flight of hurdles. Blunder from the horse in front of him in the McManus colours. It was Risk Bell. Waterford Whispers checking out at this stage. Olympic Man was well beaten off too, and it was up for grabs, wasn't it, really, at this stage? Loads of them still in with a chance.
It was. De Capo was running a cracking race under top weight. Carl Miller, Western Walk takes it off him, and you kind of thought here, Gary, as they headed to the last, Western Walk was going to be the one. Now, you said to me around about now, there's something flying in the pale colours. That was Chapeau de Soleil, right of your shot. How many horses are in front of him? 2, 4, 6, 8. I think 8, maybe 9. Western Walk jams on, just loses a little bit too much momentum, and then the run-in becomes long for him as the rest start to charge at him. Beacon Edge gets there. I'm sure Danny Gilligan thought he was going to collect, and then Brian Hayes over the top, but in the middle, in the yellow colours, with the blue crossbelts, was
Moon over Clune.
Moon over Clune.
Run from that one at a massive price, I'd imagine.
And that's a yard that's on fire at the moment as well. The Smith yards had a couple of winners last week, and a few horses run here. And he's actually right back beside Chapeau de Soleil here, in the light blue, middle and park colours. Stoked the Fires in front of them both. But Western Walk, he did look the likeliest winner at this point, didn't he?
He did. This is where, unfortunately, he doesn't jump that last hurdle particularly quickly, and
positions. I don't think that's all it's about, but it certainly wasn't a help to either of them, and particularly in the case of Knight Raider was just far too keen.
Yes, and certainly with that, having seen that stumble for Ghostwriter, you can definitely mark up his eventual fall. But at this point, City of Troy is already being niggled along, and as soon as here, you know that he's not going to be winning this Guineas.
Yes, he's beaten at a very early stage of the race, and your eye is quickly drawn to the first two home. Now, Rosalian comes through them and arguably makes his move a little bit earlier, does he? I'm not quite so sure watching it again, but I think he does a little bit.
Possibly seen quite a bit of daylight as well. He was sort of unfortunately between the two semi-packs, wasn't it? But the horse that's really moved through nicely is over on the left-hand side, the eventual winner, Notable Speech, who was ridden for that turn of foot that he showed so devastatingly on the clock at Kempton, and he's done it here again.
Yeah, when I was watching it live, I was thinking another day that the front two might be a little bit close together on another occasion. I'm not so sure watching it again.
You know, I didn't buy it at the time, so...
the way that he burst clear suggests that he was thoroughly dominant on the day, so...
I do think the argument you were making beforehand that maybe Rosalian will be just as effective, if not more, at 7.
Yeah.
That I can see that.
And maybe a turning mile. I mean, you sort of look and think maybe if they met at Royal Ascot on a round mile, then one might just be a little bit better positioned than the other if they adopted similar tactics to today with each of them. But the winner is, look, I definitely thought straight away is the best horse on the day, just whether there might not be definite superiority. It might chop and change the result a little bit as they meet under different sets of circumstances, but watching that, the winner really was dominant, and it was very impressive just the way that he sort of swooped around them and made his ground so easy and quick and clear, and he's probably only in the latter part of the race that he's starting to close back up in the final 50 yards or so.
Also impressive is the fact that he didn't make his debut until a 3-year-old, and there is William Buick enjoying his first 2,000 Guineas success, which was so meaningful for him. He gave the horse a right smacker in the winner's enclosure as well to celebrate. And this horse will go on to the St James's Palace. I can see him being very much in his element on a sound surface over the summer.
Yeah, and he does look, I mean, he's bringing an unbeaten record to the table. That's a big jump up on what he's done before. We've seen that he's got an awful lot of speed, and therefore you would think that a quick surface will be something that suits him. But that turn of pace is his big asset, isn't it? And it was seen to devastating effect today.
I'll be marking up Ghostwriter, I think. I was also relatively impressed with Innes Sherin, who was always at the front end and kept on nicely for 5th.
Yeah, and Harton just a very solid run, but I do think Ghostwriter is the one that you'd mark up, and probably up in distance a little bit more on a more level track, two things that could see him to better advantage.
Is it likely that there's any coming back from that from City of Troy, where we're talking about his...
I mean, it could be a fully excusable run, but given how early he was beaten, but it is a long way back from there, isn't it?
His pedigree and...
It's in the back of your mind, isn't it, that, you know, I think you were edging towards that might happen prior to racing, and the way that he's run, it was a flat-out disappointment on the day. Hopefully he can bounce back. He's clearly not going to be the horse that he was at 2, judged on that, but it'd be good to see him another day and see if he can bounce back to form.
Okay. But William Buick is on top of the world after his first 2,000 Guineas, and earlier he spoke to Tom.
Rob Buick alongside, having won the 2,000 Guineas. Huge congratulations. There's been some near misses, and then I guess this guy arrives a bit left field initially, and he's won a Guineas.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it has been a few near misses, and it's great to get a 2,000 Guineas, and obviously he's an incredible, Notable Speech. He's a very special horse. You know, like you said, he took a very unconventional route into the race, but he's done things in his at least 2 of the runs at Kempton that.
Charlie Appleby, the trainer, the 2,000 Guineas trainer from this afternoon. Frankie Dettori on top. Was he good, or was he
now? So we wait on Chuzzlewit for stall number 2. He goes in, so they're ready to race, and they're off. Away racing from the 1 mile starting point for the Hong Kong Jockey Club World Pool Handicap Stakes. Lorado is the first one to begin in purple and yellow with the noseband, but Dorgan is right up there as well. With the blue headgear, Chuzzlewit completes out the leading 3. Close up behind is Bystander in yellow with black spots. Darkness is quite prominent as well in the 2 shades of blue. Then Crack Shots in piano, ahead of Legend of Leros in black and yellow. Behind those is Corellis Magnus in the blue and orange. Speriamo to the far side with Farazi Lane and Alto. Then Arthur's Realm. More near side is Sudden Ambush in the white, and that one's been tracked through by the filly Rawaya. Just at the rear of the field is Zosimus as they make their way up towards halfway. Darkness and Sean Levy have now claimed the lead from Chuzzlewit and Bystander. Lorado just losing a few positions, but Dorgan now ridden for more. Piano creeping up into it. Crackshot is certainly latched onto the leaders as well. No, he's up into third in the pink and green, as Darkness still has the advantage as they race towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Crackshot trying to take aim. Corollas Magnus behind those. Then Chuzzlewit ridden for more. Piano's trying to stay on that white jacket, the grey sleeves. Alto toward the left-hand side. Rawaya appears to be beaten near side as Darkness is about to be joined by Crackshot. Alto is running on all the time. Arthur's Realm getting going from a good way back. Zosimus is coming at them as well in black and orange. Crackshot has now hit the front from Alto. Zosimus and Bystander chasing hard. Then Arthur's Realm. Crackshot and Alto now toward the finish. It's Crackshot out in front, and Crackshot's going to win it from Alto in second. Very tight for third. Bystander and Zosimus, they got clear from Arthur's Realm.
That was the gamble, and Crackshot has landed the spoils, and Ed Walker has a quick-fire double on the card after Kita Kotai won. They're off at Punchestown. Here's Jerry.
Season's end, generously sponsored by Lawlers of Nath. Coming on up towards the furlong point is Mr. Frosty, the leader from Jacob's Ladder, who's disputing second place with Colonel Nelson, and then Manila Post. On the inside is Will the Wise. Gilles Desmottes towards the outside of Vintage Red. Next is Chart Topper, who's followed by Salisbury Hill, and then Eden Valley, a couple of lengths back to Harry's Delight, with another couple of lengths to Fate Red, Chart Topper, and then Gilles Desmottes with 2 lengths to Eden Valley. Beside Eden Valley is Salisbury Hill, and then Harry's Delight with the back 3. Faithful Follower, Ataho, Curry Padre. Little changes in the order. About to make the descent from the top of the track. And it's Mr. Frosty. Now followed by Manila Post, third. It's Jacob's Ladder, and fourth is Colonel Nelson, then Will the Wise. Improving onto the heels of the leaders is Vintage Red, and then Chart Topper and Gilles Desmottes next with Eden Valley. Salisbury Hill followed by Harry's Delight, and Faithful Follower as Carrick Pausry relegates Ataho to be the back marker by a few lengths. As they flatten towards the back straight, Mr. Frosty in front by a length and a half to Manila Post, half a length back to Jacob's Ladder in third. Fourth is Colonel Nelson, just fifth Will the Wise from Vintage Red, 2 lengths to Chart Topper. And followed then by Gilles Desmottes, and then Eden Valley, Salisbury Hill next, and then Harry's Delight, Carrick Fodrick, followed by Faithful Follower, and 2.5 to 3 lengths to Ataho. Down the far side they go towards the halfway stage. And the Lauders of Nace Bumper is Mr. Frosty, continuing up top from Manila Post, and then Jacob's Ladder. Fourth is Colonel Nelson, and then Will the Wise on the inside with Vintage Red, and then Chart Topper. Continuing towards the end of the back straight. Less than 7 furlongs to go. It's Mr. Frosty holding sway over Manila Post. On the inside, Jacob's Ladder. Close up in fourth is Colonel Nelson, then Will the Wise, Chart Topper and Vintage Red, and then Gilles Desmottes. Followed by Harry's Delight. On the inside, Eden Valley, and then Carrick Padre. Is followed by Salisbury Hill, Faithful Follower. Still held up as Ataho. Turning towards the final 5 furlongs. Mr. Frosty by 3 parts. Moving into second place, Jacob's Ladder on the inside of Manila Post. Then Will the Wise, who's being followed along the side by Colonel Nelson. Then Chart Topper and Vintage Red, and Eden Valley next with Gilles Desmottes and Harry's Delight and Carrick Padre. On the inside, Salisbury Hill as Ataho relegates to the rear of the field, Faithful Follower. Just outside the final 3 furlongs, Jacob's Ladder's through on the inside of Mr. Frosty. With the 2 is Manila Post at abreast. Length and a half in front of Will the Wise and then Chart Topper. Dropping out is Colonel Nelson and Gilles de Mott. Eden Valley and Vintage Red. Still well back is Ataho on the outside of Hattie's Delight and then Salisbury Hill. It's Jacob's Ladder into the straight first from Manila Post. Kicking away from Chart Topper. On the outside is Will the Wise. Being followed then by Awakening early leader Mr. Frosty and then Gilles de Mott and Salisbury Hill, but out in front is Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder and Hattie Swan from Will the Wise, who's running on the outside of Manila Post, then Chart Topper. Inside the final 150 yards, it's Jacob's Ladder kept up to work. Will the Wise still gaining on the outside. Jacob's Ladder all out from Will the Wise. At the finish, Jacob's Ladder joining the down by Will the Wise. Will the Wise, Jacob's Ladder to take the judge to split them in the season's end, followed then by Manila Post, Salisbury Hill, Chart Topper.
We've had some finishes here at Punchestown today and another one here in the bumper. Will the Wise was cutting back Jacob's Ladder with every stride, and there's the still on the line. It goes to the judge. Jacob's Ladder dashed clear early in the straight. Will the Wise just seemed to get tapped for a bit of toe, but Ruby looks like he might have got there. That would put the seal on some week for Gavin Cromwell if he has.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, Gary, and I was fairly confident the orange